Today on Politics Unplugged, we're talking to Richard Lamm, the man who used to be Colorado's governor, and Donna Lynn, the woman who wants to be Colorado's next and first female governor. Plus, meet a local professor studying what happens when faith and violence coincide. I'm Ann Trujillo, and welcome to Politics Unplugged. He has worked as a lawyer, an accountant, a lumberjack, even a presidential candidate, and now teaches public policy at the University of Denver. And former Colorado Governor Dick Lamm has always been in the middle of what's going on in Colorado for more than 50 years now. And we are honored to have Governor Lamm here with us today. And there's so many challenges in Colorado right now when you talk about growth and transportation. The list goes on and on. First, during your years as governor, you spent 3 terms. Is this the Colorado that you foresaw then?
I think we should start off by saying we're sure lucky to live in Colorado. So whatever its challenges and downsides, we don't live in Toledo, and so.
Well, that's a good point.
But yes, I think that the handwriting was on the wall. I think that Colorado has not taken enough initiative with its various growth issues, and we're slowly becoming a Los Angeles of the Rockies, and I mourn that.
What do you mean by that?
A big, sprawling, smoggy city from Fort Collins to Colorado Springs.
Are we losing our charm here in Colorado?
Well, it's still relative. It's still relative. But yes, I sure think we are. I think that, when I came to Colorado Station here in the Army at Fort Carson. You come to Denver, you could see the air was so pure. It was like little things of dynamite that was in the air. And so everybody thinks about the old days as when they were young, okay? But I just think objectively the traffic is getting worse, the smog is getting worse, the congestion, the waiting, and I think that there's been a real lack of planning and foresight in terms of Colorado. And
is that something that you could have done differently?
Well, when I tried like I-470, it was, I tried to get a major highway moved to mass transit. We should have moved to mass transit. We should have done what Toronto did. Toronto is this wonderful city that is served mainly by mass transit. But Colorado, it's hard to fight the automobile.
We fight it every day, don't we? All right, so you famously turned down the 1976 Olympics. There's talk about the U.S. Olympic Committee submitting Denver's name as a possible host city. What do you think about that? There's also talk about maybe hosting a Super Bowl here, even Amazon trying to get HQ2 here. What do you think of all those things?
Well, let's take them one at a time. I do think that the Super Bowl would be lovely. I think that we're prepared for it, and we do it without a lot of events. I think the Olympics, I'm very skeptical that the International Olympic Committee would come back to Colorado when we slammed the door in their face, but would have to wait and see how much of a drain is it on the taxpayer. On Amazon, that's the most immediate issue right now, and I think that there's 2 issues that very much concern me. Their corporate culture. The New York Times did a big expose about how they treat their employees. You succeed in Amazon by stabbing your fellow employee in the back. And second of all, how much taxpayer money. Amazon is one of the wealthy corporations in America. And here they're out seeking bribes from state with taxpayers' money. I really object to this whole method of economic development where they have to be bribed by local money.
But everybody does it.
Well, that's true. It's very true. But the New York Times said $80 billion is given, from poor taxpayers to rich people as bribes to come and move there. Then no less a person than Milton Friedman, the godfather of capitalism, said this is a terrible idea. This is unconstitutional. And yet, our people right now are talking about how much money to give to Amazon, one of the great taxpayer money to one of the great wealthy corporations.
But cities are doing it. So what's your worry if it should come here?
Well, the worry is exactly that we're continuing a process that is really negative in terms of further enriching the rich at the taxpayer's expense. I just really think at some point, like in the Olympics, where we blew the whistle on the Olympics, I hope that we would blow the whistle on Amazon. There's no reason. Amazon is talking about bringing in lots of different families. Now, every family that locates here, we estimate costs $20,000 or $30,000 in taxpayers' money just for libraries and schools and roads and sewers and all those other things, you know. And so this has gone on for centuries in America, where you have real estate development and then they put the costs off on people. So I really think that if Amazon wants to come here, fine, but don't pay a bribe to them to come here.
You had the nickname of Governor Gloom. Was that a fair assessment?
Mm-hmm. It is, yeah. I'm gloomy.
Why are you gloomy? What does that mean?
Well, I think, number one, I think we've baked in the cake a major economic disruption by borrowing as much money as we've borrowed. And second of all, I think global warming is going to come back to particularly haunt Colorado because we live already in a semi-arid desert. So I think my generation has been very poor trustees of America.
What do you think of the current political climate here in the state? Let's start there first.
Colorado is so lucky. You know, we have honest government. We don't have, there's people that I prefer over other people, but it's, I've been watching Colorado government for 40 years, and this is a really fairly clean state. The downside is campaign contributions. And no, we all took them and we're all compromised by them, but at least it's not, people aren't making a living out of politics here. And I think that we're lucky to live in Colorado in the political system that we have.
And the climate at the federal level?
That's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. I just think I'm very much concerned about what President Trump might do to the future of America.
Do you have any regrets during your time as governor?
Lots of regrets. Who doesn't? Sure.
What about running the state? Something you should have done, something you should have done differently?
Lots of things I should have done differently. Yeah, I mean, I think that's, but, we did the best we could. And I'm proud of the people we brought into office. I think that Colorado now and Denver have been enriched by people that I brought into politics in Colorado. Mayor Webb and Roy Romer and all these. I mean, I'm very proud of my legacy, but are there things that we would do different? I tried to kill 12 miles of highway called I-470. Had my head handed to me by the Supreme Court, but I wish I could have made more progress on trying to do better land use plannings in the Front Range plans.
Governor Lamm, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate always talking with you. Thank you. We'll be right back.